Long before history learned to name itself, before kingdoms carved their borders into the earth, there existed an age when the world still breathed in harmony. In those days, every mountain had a voice, every river remembered its source, and the sky listened to the prayers of the living. At the farthest edge of the east stood a mountain unseen by ordinary eyes. Travelers passed near it without knowing, and armies marched around it without sensing its presence. It was known only in forgotten verses as the Mountain of Silent Wind, for no storm dared to climb its slopes, and no bird flew above its peak. Upon that summit dwelled the Simurgh. It was not merely a creature, but a living covenant between creation and balance. Vast beyond measure, the Simurgh's wings stretched like horizons of flame and dawn. Its feathers shimmered with the colors of ending days, gold, crimson, and ash, each one holding a memory older than mankind. In its eyes lived the wisdom of countless civilizations, and in its heart rested the sorrow of watching them rise and fall. The Simurgh did not rule the world, it watched. It did not judge humanity, it waited. Only when the balance of the world faltered, when cruelty outweighed mercy, and truth grew lighter than lies, would Simurgh stir from its eternal vigil. And in time that they came, kings began to rule by fear rather than justice. Oaths were broken for gold, brothers turned against brothers, and blood soaked into the soil until the earth itself cried out. Forests burned for conquest, and rivers ran dark with grief, yet the heavens remained silent, as though waiting for one final choice to be made. High above it all, the Mountain of Silent Wind trembled. For the first time in centuries, the Simurgh opened its eyes. The sky dinned as if holding its breath. The Simurgh saw everything: the wars, the betrayals, the forgotten children praying into empty nights. Its wings twitched with power enough to cleanse the world in fire, but it did not descend. For the Simurgh knew a terrible truth passed down from the dawn of time: if it intervened, the world would be saved, but never grow. Salvation imposed from above would end free will itself. At the foot of the mountain lived a shepherd boy named Nuren. He was young, poor, and unremarkable to the eye. His days were spent guiding sheep across barren hills, his nights wrapped in silence. Yet Nuren carried something rare, a heart that listened. He felt the pain of the land beneath his feet, and the weight of sorrow in the wind. Often he dreamed of a great bird watching him from beyond the stars, its gaze heavy with unspoken truth. One night, as the moon hung low and fractured in the sky, Nuren awoke to a soundless call, not a voice, but a pull deep within his chest. Without knowing why, he took his staff and began to climb the mountain no one else could see. The ascent took days, or perhaps moments. Time bent upon the mountain, unraveling like mist. Hunger faded, fear dissolved with every step. Nuren felt smaller and yet more whole. When he reached the summit, the world fell silent. No wind, no sound, no time, and there before him stood the Simurgh. Its presence bent the air itself, like fractured on its form. Nuren fell to his knees, overwhelmed not by fear, but by a crushing sense of being seen fully, honestly, without disguise. A voice spoke, not through sound, but through existence itself. "Why have you come, child of dust?" Nuren's voice trembled, yet he did not look away. "Because the world is burning," she said, "and no one hears it scream." The Simurgh regarded him in silence. Then, slowly, it closed its eyes. A single tear pure light fell from its face and struck the stone. Where it landed, life bloomed, a small flower glowing softly against the cold rock. "If I descend," the Simurgh said, "a world will end. If I remain, darkness will rule unchecked. Tell me, Nuren, what should be chosen?" The question weighed heavier than mountains. Nuren's hands shook. He thought of the dead, the suffering, the innocent. He thought of power wielded without wisdom, and salvation that demanded obedience. At last, he spoke. "Do not save us," he said. "Teach us. Let us carry the burden of our own choices." For a long moment, perhaps, An eternity the Simurgh was still. Then, with a sound like the breaking of stars, it spread its wings. Fire consumed its form not in destruction, but in transformation. The Simurgh burned, dissolving into light and ash, scattering across the world as countless glowing feathers. They drifted into valleys and cities, into battlefields and cradles. Some feathers became conscience in the hearts of the just. Some became questions whispered to children. Some became memories that refused to die. And the Simurgh was gone. The mountain grew quiet once more. From that day on, the world was left to itself, wounded, imperfect, but free. Yet the legend did not end, for whenever injustice is challenged by a single voice, whenever mercy triumphs where cruelty once stood, whenever someone chooses what is right over what is easy, the elders say, a feather of the Simurgh has awakened.